Chapter 123 to 124. What? Doflamingo shouted at Viola, who was looking down. She bit her lips and began to scratch her left arm with her right. Really, I couldn't read his memories since I fell asleep. It was a really wild night, so I was tired. Kick! Doffy's veins popped up as he grabbed her by the neck. Are you deliberately trying to anger me, Viola? He wanted to cut her into pieces with his strings, but he was barely able to control himself. Her power is too useful to him. In the end, he let her go. Bam! He punched the wall, creating a crater, and walked away. Stay away out of my sight for a few days. I don't want to see your dirty face. He didn't forget to add. He was acting all grumpy, even though, to begin with, it was him who laid Amon and herself. Amon, who was flying in the sky 70 kilometers far from Dressrosa, laughed hearing this. I didn't think Mr. Doffy was a cuck when I first watched the anime. Now let's not get too caught up in the fun. Amon held himself back. He started to pay attention to a new piece of information. He recently got a report. Doflamingo should have also gotten it, as he was also a part of the underworld. The rumor of a dragon fruit on Risky Red Island? This is a rumor that started a few days ago. However, Amon didn't care about it. To begin with, just like this, there were previous scamming situations. 3 years ago, there was a rumor regarding OP Noemi. Amon came from the moon for that at once. But in the end, it was all a scam. Amon killed all the scammers for interrupting his busy life. This wasn't the only case. There were around 28 cases like this that Amon could recall that are worth remembering. There was even one outrageous claim like, buy Pirate King's devil fruit with 5 billion belly. This is when Amon learned to not trust everything there is in the underworld. So he wasn't taking this one seriously as well, more so when he doesn't remember a situation like this from the show. Still, he needs to be careful. Although there was no dragon fruit's appearance like this shown in the anime, anything can happen, so he needs to try getting it. Amon passed by some birds flying in the sky. However, since Doffy learned about this too, Kaido's troops might come. He is the only emperor with whom I don't want to pick a fight. After all, he can come to my place flying and destroy everything. To beat Big Mom, Amon just needs to take out her 3 main homies. But to beat Kaido, who knows something terrible like Conqueror's hockey coating, Amon needs powers that he might or might not have at this point. It was something to be cautious of. But since this time the rumor is coming from a reliable source, Amon needs to test it by going there himself, or better, send someone who doesn't have any affiliation with the 5th Emperor, at least to the general mass. Finally, it's time to meet him after 4 years. By him, Amon meant that man who he asked to set sail in the Blue Sea 4 years ago before leaving for the moon. He was Gan Fall's son, Rio, who wasn't seen participating in the War of Liberated Tribe. The reason was simple. He wasn't there in the Skypiean back then. He didn't go to the 400th anniversary since to the outside world. He is someone who fled from Skypiean. Along with Amon, only a few more people knew the truth. But before that, I need to finish some small jobs. Port Gas D. Ace should be heading to Risky Red Island, too. I should check the Thriller Bark once before moving on with more important things. Thriller Bark was changing. Zzz. Not far from Skypiean, there was an island floating in the white sea. This island looked creepy from the outside, and it was creepier from the inside. Yes, this was the Thriller Bark, the ship of Gecko Moria. After taking over this land, Amon brought it into the sky. The outside world didn't know that Gecko Moria was now dead. It was because people didn't know the location of the Thriller Bark and couldn't confirm his death. Even if they could, they wouldn't know who killed him. So, just like Crocodile, Moria also died silently, unknowingly, to the world. In the process, Amon's fame was interrupted. I will make a report myself. This would guarantee an increase in his bounty. Amon was all in for that. He was almost like an addict, wanting to see the numbers rise. Lost in thought, Amon slowly went towards the artificial ship island. "Put that shit there, damn it! Are you fucking idiots?" Raki was having a hard time. Her brother asked her to rebuild this new island he brought to the sky. It was quite strange how he was out there, bringing islands here, but she didn't question anything. It was not unnatural for her after she saw him taking over actual moons. Taking over islands only proved Amon was still left with human desires, and also the fact he was growing stronger. "Stronger, huh?" Reiki laughed lightly. She knew better than anyone. There wasn't anyone who could beat her brother. So what was left to get stronger? Reiki realized the answer to the questions without anyone telling her. Just because individually none can beat him doesn't mean he is strong enough to individually beat everyone either. She was aware of this, so she would help him by becoming his sword. Reiki was lost for a second as she gripped her sword, only to get back to reality after seeing some people messing up their works. "Ah! Hey, put those bricks in Area 3! Not here!" Raki screamed towards the Birkin's moving bricks. Amon decided to reconstruct this place, Thriller Bark, into a beautiful city. However, not a normal one, rather, a dead city. From the outside, it will look new, but only zombies would live here. Normal Skypieans are forbidden from entering here. Only Birkins and Shandians can, since they are too loyal to get any smart ideas. The previous creepy state is good to scare weak people, but it won't work on strong individuals. However, after reconstruction, the seemingly new city would scare a few people after observing the dead state. That's what Amon had in his mind when he decided to change this place. A newly built park with no living beings on it is more terrifying than a horror-themed one. Although some particular places will indeed be the same, like the massive mansion and the graveyard. It's just that new houses will be built around it, kept out of the outside visitors' eyes. The reason is that the hostages are kept inside, the people who were hiding on the island before. One of Big Mom's daughters as well. Unfortunately, Big Mom doesn't care about her, or Amon would have used her to threaten her. Also, there is Ors Jr. Amon is currently working on his DNA, but he was getting nowhere. He needs the research files of Vinsmoke Judge. So annoying. Raki rubbed her temple while looking around. Yona was busy learning her new powers, so she wasn't able to get close to her. She cursed in her mind and started to pay attention to her surroundings. Zzz. The sound of passing electricity entered Raki's ears. Amon teleported directly beside Raki, his elbow resting on her shoulders, his body leaning on her. "Raki, what's up?" "Oh, shut up, I'm busy. Why do I have to do your job, fuck?" Amon laughed, seeing her nonchalant reply. She wasn't even surprised, seeing his sudden arrival. Endure it. Everything will be easy after we take over the world." This piqued Raki's interest as she giggled. "Foo-foo, yes, that's why I am enduring it. Bro, I want beautiful girls to bathe me after we take over the world. You won't stop me then, okay?" Amon stared at her for a second before sighing. "Whatever. You have your own dreams. I have mine." A short silence fell upon the duo. Raki bit her lips and smiled. "I am doing everything for you, idiot. Anyway, where is Yona? I gave her a task. She should have completed it." Amon ignored her thought and asked. Reiki pointed at the main mansion. "Inside." She then ran to a spot where people were lazing around. Amon walked towards the mansion while people bowed in his presence. Shadows are supposed to follow their master forever. For that reason, when the master, meaning the body moves, the shadow also moves, and vice versa. If the shadow is forcefully moved, the main body will move too. This way, by cracking the neck of a shadow, Yona, who can touch shadows, can kill the actual person. Amon asked Yona to learn this technique 2 weeks ago, as it came with the passive ability of the fruit. Currently, Amon was standing in front of Yona, ordering her. "All right, Yona, make me punch myself. Basically, Amon wanted another controller other than him. Yona nodded. She won't reject her Kami's will even if it was to harm himself. She raised her hand in the air as Amon's shadow moved like a ripple in water. Shadow possession. Yona then controlled Amon's hand to punch his face. Amon tried to resist the effect, but as expected, he was unable to. Whoosh! Amon's hand twisted and his fist went towards his face. Bam! How before it could hit his face, his other hand stopped it. Not enough speed. While controlling me, try to force me to use my fruit. This was the main part, controlling people. Shadows to punch wasn't hard, but Amon wanted Yona to be able to control his devil fruit, to force him to use his fruit without him willing it. Yona nodded. I will try. But it's hard. She tried it. Once. Bam. But the desired effect did not occur and Amon stopped the attack. Twice. Bam. Thrice. Bam. Fourth. Just like that, Yona tried 68 times. She was tired. My lord, I need rest. Seeing her sweating buckets and gasping for breath, Amon nodded. It's fine. Take a rest. You did a good job. Yona fell on her butt as Amon walked towards her and sat beside her. Yona had her head down, her face darkened, and her eyes narrowed. She couldn't do it. If only she was a bit more talent. Don't push yourself. Amon's hand on her shoulder stopped her haywire thoughts. Yes. Although she did say that, her mood didn't improve that much. To begin with, she didn't even improve that much over the last 2 weeks. This wasn't what she was good at. Amon patted her head, reading her mind. Calm down. You did well. Truth be told, Amon was disappointed, but he didn't show it. That wasn't how one should treat his subordinates. Ignoring his disappointment, Amon had a theory regarding this case. Maybe it wasn't about talent, but rather about intelligence. Red Dragon. Amon decided to explain his theory. You now ate a devil fruit. It's a new power that is different from your physical power, right? Confused, Yona looked at his face, but in the end answered, Yes. It's like an outer force. Amon stroked her hair. Try looking at it this way. When you try to control the other person's devil fruit, your goal is to control their body, their movements, then try controlling that outer force rather than the body alone. Got that? Yona didn't answer. She was surprised. It was a new view on things. She praised her Kami's wisdom in her mind before standing up. My Kami, can I try once more? Amon smiled. Yes. Amon stood a few meters far from Yona while she raised her hand in the air. The shadow of Amon moved according to her hand signals. Amon's hand moved surprisingly. Lightning was dancing around it. The vroom! It moved so fast that it broke the sound barrier and went towards Amon's face. For a second, he couldn't follow its movement, meaning it was moving outside his speed and observation hockey's limit. Something that should be impossible. Bam! Amon's fist landed on his face, breaking his nose. He was thrown meters away, breaking the wall and landing on the graveyard outside, surprising many Birkins and Rocky. She quickly ran to him and looked at her brother's bloody broken nose and hand. Bro, what the fuck happened to you and your arm? It broke? Amon smiled bitterly, which looked disgusting, and laid down. He wondered, what the fuck just happened? Shadows. Shadows have no weight nor mass. Shadows are just the lack of light on a certain spot. Considering that, shadows shouldn't be tangible, let alone be manipulatable. Yet, the shadow fruit user has the power to touch shadows, and even to control them. In that sense, by controlling the shadow, Yona could force people to use their DF power as well? Right, theoretically. This was Amon's goal. He wanted Yona to learn this. That way, she might be able to one day control people whose hockey is weak enough for the shadow possession to work, and use them against their own allies. A perfect victim candidate should be Blackbeard with his fruit. Not considering Teach, this is still a necessary power-up, Amon thought while lying on the ground. When Amon's shadow was possessed by Yona, he could have resisted it with his hockey, but he didn't do so since it would ruin the whole point of training her. He assumed that even if she did succeed in controlling his fruit power since it was her first time, the effect would be bearable. The worst could have been that his fist would just come towards his face super fast, but in that case he would just stop it with the other hand. It was because he was confident in his buffless observation hockey, as it was even able to follow some of Kizaru's attacks. But who would have thought the punch almost surpassed his regular observation's limit speed? Without transforming, Amon's hand can endure the force of punching at 310 of lightning speed, so his hand breaking only meant it surpassed that speed, which is, theoretically speaking, shouldn't be possible in his human form. The shadow moved that fast, faster than Amon expected, and his fist was forced to follow its movement. Amon still could have stopped it just by thinking, but to help Yona understand her own capacity, he let himself get hurt. But the question was, why did it move so fast? Yona wasn't fast enough to make his hand move at that speed, right? Yes, she wasn't that fast. Rather, it's just that since Amon's shadow is massless, it was faster than him, who has mass. She just controlled that shadow. Anything that is massless would be faster than something with mass. It's a fact. The punch of the massless shadow mixed with lightning was faster than Amon's normal lighting punch, so his punch surpassed 310 of lightning speed. At that speed, Amon's hand was forced to follow that massless shadow's punch speed, thus breaking down since it couldn't endure the force. He was amazed by the combined power of lightning speed and a massless shadow, the power that broke his nose even though he imbued hockey on his face. The moral of the story, Yona didn't hurt Amon hurt himself. Also, Gecko Moria was an idiot for not fully using such a devastating fruit. Amon kept laying down on his back, his nose twisting strangely, slowly recovered by itself. The same goes for his broken hand. Amon was using Sime Kikon, one of his trump cards. Rocky crouched down as she inspected his face. She couldn't sense any enemy in this vicinity. Then who hurt him like this? Her hand went to her sword while shaking. Her eyes were red. Who the fuck did this? Brother, tell me the name and I will kill them. Amon laughed. Calm down. It sounded rather weird since his nose was broken. It's nothing. I was just training Yona. Huh? Reiki's killing intent vanished. After a short silence, she sighed. Such a powerful devil fruit. Did that overpower yours? In a sense, yes. Maybe? Reiki averted her hand from her sword. I want one too. Better than yours, she simply remarked. You will get one day, but not anytime soon. Haha, fuck, it hurts. Amon made a pained expression while his hand made a crack sound. Fixing a broken hand was painful as hell. Not only that, his nose hurt too. His own punch hurt more than Kizaru's countless attacks. He was proud that his attack power was so high, but he felt that he now needs to pay attention to his defense. Shank's body is weak enough to allow a puny Sea King to bite his arm off, while old Whitebeard died of gun bullets in the canon timeline. Amon found a point to pay attention to rather than just increasing attack power. I was already training my defense, but it seems I need to pay more attention. As if the injuries never existed, the broken nose and hand went back to normal in a matter of minutes, while he groaned every now and then. Even his blood was absorbed. All the time, Rocky sat beside him, stroking his hair. Yona, who was shocked, also ran towards him by then. Kakami! She instantly jumped to the ground and bowed towards Amon. Please kill me! Kill me for doing that to you! I am incompetent mortal! Rocky turned her head towards her and sighed after a short silence. She would have killed the culprit if it wasn't Yona. She knew her brother probably asked her to do that, to begin with. He always was like that. Amon just sat up and looked towards Yona while stretching his hand. "Calm down, this isn't your fault." Indeed, it wasn't her fault, rather. His previous assumption was wrong. Yona wasn't talentless, she was just not creative enough. But for that, he was here. Also, Robin, I need Robin to teach her things. She is surprisingly creative. Walking towards the shaking and crying Yona on the ground, Amon decided his next course of action. Time to meet the Sky Pirates. 4 years ago. At a corner of the upper yard, a young Amon was standing in front of a few Birkins and a few Skypieans. Among them, a young man with a neatly trimmed beard stood out most. This bunch of Birkins were the few people who worked under Enel in the canon timeline, named Om, Satori, Shura, Gadatsu, and a few goat people. And the Skypiean people were some random nobodies Amon picked up to fill the names. Among them, only the first commander of God's militia and son of Ganfall, Reo, was worth mentioning. He was the strongest among all of them here. "Okay, guys, I am preparing to leave for a long journey. We already talked about it, so let's cut to the chase and remind you one last time." They nodded. This wasn't a sudden meeting. They were thoroughly explained about things beforehand. You will go down in the sea and form the Sky Pirates. You will also pick fights with the Wingless Valkyrie Guild so that nobody suspects we are from the same side. Also, don't forget to do things against Skypea. Make yourselves seem like criminal runaways from here. I will take care of your backgrounds and the paperwork, Amon explained as everyone nodded. This is a serious mission. We need to fool the masses to gain specific things that strength can't guarantee. Understood? Again, everyone nodded. They didn't have any questions and were happy to be picked like this. This bunch of Skypieans assumed this was all for the safety of Skypea. The Birkins just did as Amon ordered without any questions. So, Reo opened his mouth. I will try my best as their leader. I will play the captain role as you have assigned me. Amon nodded at Reo's words. Yes. Also, I am sure you are aware why I chose you as the captain. You are the person with the most experience in handling a group since you were a militia commander. Amon just stared ahead with his serious face. I don't care if you get a huge bounty or no bounty at all. Just don't mess up, or things will be bad. You guys will have important roles to play in the future, it's a given. Having a hidden group is a must to survive in this world. They nodded, without realizing that they were basically scapegoats. To them, they were doing this for honor and to obey their god, but in the end, they were just sacrifices. Amon grinned lightly and nodded. Now then, I hope you have a safe and enjoyable journey. Present time. Just like Amon had predicted, the Sky Pirates, after 4 years of staying away from their families and friends, were having their uses. Today, Amon was sitting on a pirate ship with 2 wings and a skull in their middle, printed on the Jolly Roger. He was enjoying tea with a man sitting opposite him. The man had a neatly trimmed beard with no mustache. He was wearing a robe, a gray dress designing similar to Ancient One's suit from Dr. Strange. Around the right shoulder of the robe, there was a special sign that he had as the leader of this pirate crew. 2 wings with a pirate skull between them, and 3 triangles below the 2 wings, and 1 a little further below the skull symbol. He then talked in a deep voice. I heard about what happened on the 400th anniversary. The nobles got what they deserved. I have watched the stream. As he said this, he had a small, hardly noticeable smile on his face. He sighed soon after. It's a pity that I am stuck here in the mission, or I would have participated in the war for sure. This was when his voice became a little shaky and his grip on his teacup tightened. I heard many of us died, leaving their families behind. For all of this, Marines are at fault. As a person who has been running from Marines for 4 years, the man formed some kind of hatred towards them. But after learning about the things that happened in the sky, he was enraged. This was when Amon moved his mouth. Indeed, Marines are the ones who are responsible for their death. But it is also true that we were weak. If we were strong enough, none of us would have died. Rio, I am glad that you were able to control your emotions and not go to the sky after learning all of this. I wanted to, but I recalled your words. The man, Rio said. He was referring to, just don't mess up, or things will be bad. From 4 years ago. Amon grinned lightly. If you had done that, things would have gotten really messed up. His eyes looked within Rio's eyes as they shook. You are a smart man. I will give you that. But never get too smart, please, or I need to make sure your head doesn't work properly anymore. Amon told the truth. Rio knew it. Rio gulped. He felt his initially boiling blood become calm. He hasn't changed, just like a predator. Amon sipped his tea while enjoying his inner thoughts. While Amon returned from the moon every now and then, he met up with Rio and took a recollection of his actions. Meantime, Amon showed his ruthless side more and more, making Rio frightened, thus learning how insignificant he was. Anyway. Amon took out a paper from the pocket of his black, luxurious leather jacket. We have a new mission. Risky Red Island. There is supposed to be an ancient zone at that place. This attracted a lot of attention, Amon explained while looking at the paper. It was a map of Risky Red Island. Jack from Beast Pirates will be there as well. The reason I am taking you is, Rio, I want to see if you can defeat him. Amon looked at his face. I will go with you, but I won't take any actions. You have to do everything by yourself. If you win, I will reward you an ancient Zoan. Even if there was no dragon fruit, Amon can make it seem like Rio killed Jack. Even if Rio isn't strong enough, he himself would kill him. After that, he would get his hands on Jack's ancient Zoan fruit. He might then give the fruit to Rio, since he still doesn't have any fruit. But if there is a dragon fruit, then things will get more interesting. Ha! Amon smiled and stretched his limbs. It will take 2 days to reach Risky Red from here. I got an eternal log pose. Amon glanced at the people behind him, the Birkins. Meanwhile, let me see how much you have all grown. I need to make sure if you guys are strong enough to match the Beast Pirates or not. He 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 he. Amon's passive aura leaked out, made everyone gulp in fear.